It's no coincidence that landing is the first lesson of this curriculum. Every game of Fortnite begins with a thrilling descent, followed by a fateful landing which will largely determine if your run is fortuitous or frustrating. The further away from the bus you go, the fewer other players you're likely to encounter. No matter how good you are, if you land in a zone that has too many other players, whether you survive or not will be more a matter of luck than skill. On the other hand, if you go to as remote a destination as possible, you'll encounter very few other players. This makes it a bit easier to get to the end game, but most will agree this is a pretty boring strategy. A good strategy for most players is to land somewhere in between, not too close to the bus that your odds of surviving to the late game are nil, but not so far away that you don't encounter any other players at all until the late game. Assuming you don't care whether you have an exciting or a slow early game, the perfect landing consists of landing anywhere where you can get there first and get directly to a good weapon, such as the blue pump. You can then use that weapon to immediately subdue attackers. However, if another player gets to that weapon first, you will be the one who is subdued, so be careful. When you're landing, you must be observant. Do not blindly glide to your doom like a leaf caught in the wind, but vigorously inspect your surroundings for telltale glimmers of green, blue, purple, and especially gold that indicate that a good weapon is nearby. If you and another player seem tied in a race to get to a spot, luck will play a large role in who survives. It is not cowardice to retreat from this situation. You can return to take your revenge and claim your rightful gun after first arming yourself at a different location. Depending on the area you land in, and if it's at all possible, it's usually advisable to immediately get yourself a shotgun. This is as much a matter of offense as it is of defense. A shotgun can eliminate your opponents quickly, but can also defend against an aggressive player who is trying to get really close to you, really fast. An otherwise good landing can go awry if other players have beaten you to your destination. Despite your incredible landing technique, variations in elevation on the map can result in other players beating you to some place through no fault of your own. If it looks like other players are going to beat you by a little bit to where you're landing, you may think you can simply outgun your opponents who have had more time to find weapons and prepare themselves. Rest assured, your opponents are also confident that they can quickly eliminate you, so don't walk into this disadvantageous situation. Here's a good all-purpose formula for landing well. It's not perfect, it does not work every time, and it will not guarantee that you will win the game. However, following this technique is a much better strategy than just picking a random location, dropping, and hoping for the best. Once you receive the signal that you can drop, do not drop right away. Instead, wait between 5 or 10 seconds. Then look directly down and 90 degrees either to the left or right. This will angle you in such a way that when you start falling, you will immediately be fast falling and ready to float perpendicularly to the path of the bus. While you are falling, you want to be falling directly down as fast as possible. Using the tactic that I have outlined, you're quite likely to be the first person to land wherever you happen to be. In squad and duo mode, when you're randomly matched with other players, it is good etiquette to signal your desired landing spot by placing a marker there as soon as you can. Your teammates, if they're good teammates, will either agree with your decision by placing their own marker on it, or make their own choice and vote by placing their marker somewhere else. A popular topic of blog posts about Fortnite is what the best places to land are. Is there a best place to land? No, there's not really any such thing. A landing spot that's a good place to land is any spot where you're there first and there's a gun waiting for you. That's simple. Any place, even your favorite place, is a bad place to land if there's another player waiting for you there, gun in hand. Now, some players may tell you their preferred places to land. This just means they've mastered or enjoy the unique mechanics to that place. For example, Pleasant Park involves a lot of clearing houses. This is pretty fun and takes a lot of skill, and if you're good at it, you can get a lot of kills. During each match, a circle appears representing the area of the playfield that is safe from the storm. This circle shrinks as time passes. Not all landing zones are created equal relative to the circle. If we overlay every place that the circle can appear, we can see that some areas are much more likely to be a part of that first circle. Now, being in the circle is both good and bad. If you're inside, you do not need to worry about moving around and staying in the circle. You can hold a good position indefinitely, but you can be attacked from virtually any direction. You will encounter more enemies in the circle and more loot. Now, if you land outside the circle, you can reasonably be certain that the movement of any players you encounter will generally be towards the circle, especially as time runs out. This will make your opponents more predictable and generally lead to an easier game. Of course, they can predict the same thing about you, so try to mix it up a little bit. Landing is an excellent skill to master in Fortnite. It's very skill-based and will greatly improve how well you do, more, I believe, than any other fundamental skill. Yes, being able to laser people from a great distance is really important, but that takes a really long time to master. No one is saying you can sit down in 5 minutes and learn to laser someone every time instantly, but you can learn to basically double or triple the effectiveness of your landings just right now, right away. So I hope you're as excited as I am to get out there and do a good landing. Remember, the key to a good landing is to use your head, think quickly, and land not too close nor too far from the battle bus. Know your tolerance for fighting other players and moving towards the circle. If you've mastered landing, you will even the playing field against more skilled players. Please consider subscribing, and if you want to be notified exactly when our next video comes out, click the little bell next to the subscribe button when you do. If you want to watch some more Fortnite University, here are some links right on the page that you can just click